So welcome to CTS1133C. The C is for accreditation purposes, so 1133 software configuration. My name is Ahmed Al-Zaidi and I will be your instructor for this course. As you can see, I put my cell phone and my email address where you can reach me. Again, yes, it's 813, so it's Tampa, but I'm in Jackson. The course is about you learning how to configure a software or an operating system. Now, the course should come after or alongside with hardware configuration. If you are planning to take hardware configuration afterward, you may, if you don't have a good experience with hardware, you may see some kind of difficulties when we talk about things that related to hardware. Okay, we will mention stuff that's related to hardware because we want to make sure that you understand the entire thing. Now, the book that you are going to buy, the bundle that you are going to buy, will give you hardware and software. So not only one course, the book that you will buy and the code you will buy will give you software and hardware books, and we will talk about that. So if you send me an email, most of the time I'm going to respond within a couple of minutes to an hours, but I give myself 24 to 48 hours in the response time. Have in mind one thing: if you send me an email and I don't have the answer and I need to contact someone higher in the department, it depends on their timing also. But I will at least let you know that I've sent you an email or I'm getting more information. Campus information as shown in the syllabus. If you have a problem with the course or problem that need to address by the campus. So again, this course is going to help you to understand the system, operating systems, network usage, installation, troubleshooting, and command prompts. I will try to, and it's hard. I know it's hard from being face-to-face to an online. So I will try my maximum ability to cover everything I can as easy as possible. Okay, so I'm going to do my best to achieve what I was achieving when I was covering this course on ground. Now, we will have a lot of hands-on activity and we will come to it, but just bear with me. Let me explain. I'm explaining the syllabus for you, and after we complete the syllabus, I explain the course. We will talk about NetLab, we will talk about U-Certified, then we will go and cover the chapter that's for module 1, and then we will go from there to do the labs and so on. So I like to take things step by step. A lot of students like to jump. I'm the type of a person who try to take it step by step and not rushing, because I tested before. When I rush on the student, they will not understand anything. So I'm really taking it step by step for you to understand. I know we are on Thursday. You have a couple of days for the due dates, but again, we will cover it as we go through. So that the learning outcome, it's available in the syllabus. So please go ahead and download it. You will learn a lot of things, and I will try to put from my knowledge. In the course on formation, you have a number of really important information. This is your class number. If someone asks you to it, no, they will not ask you. They will ask me about the class numbers, because we work by numbers, not software configuration. Because when you say software configuration, immediately I'll ask you what session, because now we have the numbers over here. Most important days for you: August 31st is the start of the course. November 5th is the last day to withdraw with a W, and December 15th is the last day of classes. So everything should be completed before that day. That means December 15th, when it achieve or arrive December 16th, I'm submitting my finals. Disregard if, oh, I forget. No, you don't cannot forget. We will talk about what you need for this course. From instructional materials, let's talk about the textbook. The textbook that you will buy, it's a book like this thick, called The Complete A Plus Guide to an IT Hardware and Software, and it comes with manual for lab manual, and it comes with U-certified course and labs bundle. So technically, it's a book that has 3 pieces. The book, a small manual like this. I will bring it from my office next class. You will see it. A small bundle like this that has all the instruction how to do the labs, because even the one that's online, that you will see the chapters online, when you'll go and you want to do the online ebook, when it reaches the point of talking about the labs, it stops. So you must have the book. So it comes with the book, with the lab manual, and it comes with a card that has in it an access code. Now then we will talk about number 1 in a few, but because we have 1 and 2. So it comes with access code. The access code is not the one that I provided to you. The access code is not the section key. The section key I've already provided to you. We'll talk about it. But the access code that it comes with the book, you will pay for it. I think the last time I checked, last year was $180 from the bookstore. I'm not pretty sure. I did not ask for this year. But last year was the bundle, which is include the book, the lab manual, and the access code was $180. If you want to play it smart and you go online to U-certify and you want to buy the access code for this specific labs, or U-certify, it's $360. So you'll ask, why is almost to the half? And I always say, Charlie Schmidt, Professor Schmidt, is one of our professors at FSCG. Okay, and that's why she's getting really good discount for all our students. So if you go and say, hey, let me play smart and let's go to U-certify and try to buy the access code for that, $360. Just to let you know, buy from the bookstore is much cheaper. Now, before I proceed, I've already said that you need to have a really good computer, a really good internet connection, and all other requirements for online learning, like a webcam and a mic and so on, to be able to do the labs. We will be utilizing 2 types of software, or third-party application, that we call it, not software, third-party application. We're going to utilize NetLab and U-certify. NetLab, it's a lab environment. I will let you see it, but I just want to explain. It's a lab environment that was designed to include a network with an operating system. A network with an operating system. You will have 5 PCs to it inside this network. So you have a Linux, 2 Windows 7, 1 Windows 8, and Windows 10. So you have 5 computers, 5 or 6, 5 computers. And all of them are connected through a network, and that means they can see each other. So you will jump from one to another and so on. Now, why we want to use NetLab? What is the reason for using NetLab? And I get a lot of questions like, can I use my own computer for that? It's much easier. Yeah, it's much easier. I agree with you. If you use your own computer to do the labs, to do the tests and so on, we will have a problem. The problem going to show that, will come, is that if you misconfigure your computer, it's on your own risk. NetLab, with all the computers that's connected to it, the moment that you sign out or you exit out, the labs and all the computers connected to it will reset. So technically, it's just like when you go back if all the configuration has been changed to the default setting. Okay, so technically it's going to not mess up any software, and you will learn. You will have an administrative right, you will log in and you do whatever you want to do normally without any issue and not causing a problem to your system. That's one of the things. You don't want to cause a problem to your system. U-Certify. I like U-Certify a lot. U-Certify is the ebook, so you will have chapters you read from. They have labs that you can utilize. You have quizzes over there and so on. The nice thing that to include everything that you need to do to get the certification, to learn to get the certification. We will do only small portion of it. So we will do the assessment of it, the weekly assessment that we are going to have in every other module, and so on. And that's it. That's what you want to do. That's what I grade you on. But let me say you are a type of a person you want to learn more. Then yes, this software will help you to learn more. And plus, it will give you 360 days from the day that you are going to enter the access code. Okay? The day that you enter the access code, you have 360 or 365 days a year from the day of access. So if you said, hey, let me go ahead and take hardware, then next semester I will take software. Yeah, you can. Let me take both hardware and software at the same exact time. You can. You fail software for any reason, you can retake it without paying. You just change the section key, and that's it. As I mentioned, we talked about the technology requirement, accessibility. If you have any issue that you need to have a special accommodations, extending time in exams, and so on, you need to contact the service for student with disability, and they will help you to get in contact and get verified, and they will send you the information. So you are, expected to participate in the course, and you do your assessment, you do your assigned work. Most of the written assignment going to be APA, but we will not do a lot of written assignment, only maybe 2, and then that's it. And you don't need to have an APA because it has a template. We will have discussions that have 5 points and so on. I'm going to skip this because this about what you have for each assignment, and I'm going to go through it when I'm going to reach and talking about the schedule. It will make much more sense if I cover it through the schedule. So I always say the introduction courses for computer science is an easy A. You just need to do the work. It's not complicated type of work. So we will have the course orientation assignment. It has 0 point on it. Discussions, we will have 1 which with 5 points. We will have 4 labs with 5 points, 2 labs with 6, 1 with 9.8 of 10 points, and 2 for 15, 3 for 20, and 1 30 points. We will have 1 team assignment 1. Now you will ask, when we are going to be assigned groups? You are going to be assigned group the week before the assignment. So technically, I'm giving you time to know each other. Maybe you have friends who you can ask and so on to know them. I have one of the students where I have notification that they have low internet and they cannot view pictures or videos. Make sure that you have high internet because you will need it. That's live streaming. Okay. So you have the assignment, and I'm giving you time to know each other and say, hey, can I have so-and-so to be in one group and so on. Otherwise, what I'm going to do, I'm going to assign group randomly, and I'm going to pick people and say, this is your group, go ahead and create team assignment 1. Team assignment 1, team assignment 2 will have the same exact group, different modules, module 5 and module 8, I think. Team evaluation, or how I call it, is time for snitching. In team evaluation, you are going to evaluate your teammate. make sure the assignment that you're going to submit is the one that should be come to me, which is team evaluation, because when you will discuss between each other. Then you are going to create the team assignment and you will send it to me. But when you do that team evaluation, you are going to send it directly to me. So you are going to put in it, and you should have why you like to work with this guy or why you don't like to work with this guy. That's why I call it stitching time. We will have 10 quizzes, 3 skill tests with 100 points, and 2 written exams with 150. And by that, we will have 1,000 points. If you had the opportunity to collect 900 points, this is an A, 800 to 899, this is a B, 700 to 799, this is a C, 600 to 699, this is D, and anything below 600 is an F. Can I get an I for my final grade? Every time I get the same exact question, and I always say yes, but it has a rule. In the catalog, it say that 70% of the work must has been done, and that you are passing with a C, but you just want to have 1-2 weeks to complete your work. And by that, I can assign you an I. After you assign or you sign off an agreement, so we will create, there's a form that you need to fill, and I need to agree to it, and you need to agree to it, and so on. And we need to have a documentations in order to give you an I, otherwise no, because you're passing. So let me ask you, if you have an F, can you get an I? No. If you have a D, can you take an I? No, you cannot, because you're not passing. Academic dishonesty, this is if you cheated. We are in a course that you are going to do the work, it's a hands-on work, so there's no possibility that you are going to cheat. But if it comes to my attention that someone cheated and I have enough evidence, I'm going to report you, because we don't tolerate any cheating. Attendance, one of the most important and required things, because this is a virtual course, not 100% online. There's a difference between online courses and virtual courses. Okay, and it's one main thing. Some of the structures don't, they mix it. Even the explanation, they say online course, and I always like, because I taught before online and on ground and hybrid and virtual, and all of them have a difference. The difference between online and virtual, that in virtual classes, most of the activity going to be done online, and there's a virtual meeting, just like how our meeting going on. You must attend, and attendance will be called, and you will be subject why you didn't show up. I have around, I think in this class 17 or something like that, and guess what? I have, right this moment, including myself, we are 7. Do you think that I'm going to let it go? No, I'm going to put it that they did not show up. And when they will get a notification say, you did not show up, then they will show up. Okay? So virtual meeting require you to attend. Online meeting, the instructors know exists. It's just like in the back door, in the back behind. The instructor is there, he put an announcement and but there's no virtual meeting. In virtual courses, we are virtual meeting. We should meet, we should see each other, you should open your camera, I should look at you, and so on. Just like a course, but we are online. Meeting online. Okay? That means they call it, in a different word, they call it distance learning, okay? Which technically you have distance between you. So technically, if no student did attend, they will be dropped with non-attendance. I'm giving you enough time for, the point for the due dates, and we will see when our due date is going to be for each and every module. I'm giving you enough time, and that's why no extension are given. I'm giving you more than 1 week. Some of the assignments you have 2 weeks to complete, and it even don't require you having 1 hour or less to be completed. That's why you have no extensions. Only if you can provide me an evidence, that a solid evidence, that means a written documentation. It's not talking. Oh, I was ill and I couldn't come and I couldn't do my assignment. Don't work. No. It needs to be written documentation from a doctor, from an official person, not you, from a doctor, and saying that you couldn't do your work because you were ill, or this so and taking care of someone ill, or someone need the care of so and and that I will give you. You are in custody. You are in handcuffs. What you do? You cannot do your homework, right? But they will give you a piece of paper saying what day you went in, what day you went out. Provide this to me. I see the days. I will excuse you for these days. Otherwise, no. Live and these two notes over here, the live class structure and the instructor policies for successful live online classes, was sent out to you by the president of FSCJ. I copied the same exact email and put it over here. Okay? So you can review it and understand it. Now, calendar of activities. You will see what day we are going to meet, when is due. Okay? So you can see so and so we are going to meet in so and so day, and it's going to be due that day. So you'll say, oh, I have only 3 days. No, actually you have 7 days. Because all the assignment will open Monday, 12 a.m. So midnight, that means Sunday on Monday. So the time that will switch from Sunday, 11:59 to 12 o'clock Monday, you have the assigned work open. And it will close on Sunday, 11:59. Exactly. So we are going through this, the course, and getting known to everything and so on. Then we'll talk about lab. This lab. So today we should complete chapter 14. We should, you should complete the syllabus quiz, do the discussion for the introduction, and we will talk about Windows basics. Until the 6th, you have 3 days for the end of it. Next module start with next week. Chapter 15, we have the labs as assigned over here. It's really straightforward. I just want to reach module 6. Module 6 is an examination module. Okay? This module going to have 2 exams, one skill test 1 and the other one going to be written exam 1. One you will require to have NetLab and the labs and so on, or the instruction. I will provide to you the instruction file, but you should have NetLab for it, and the other one you should have the big book because the answer is coming from it. I just want you to look over here, 100 with 150. Just module 6 is a quarter point of your course, the entire course, which means that module 6, if you didn't do it, you fail it. You fail the class. It's 250 points. Let's go more. And which module? Over here. In module 10, we will start dividing our module into 2 weeks. So technically, the rhythm of the course will be slowing down. So rather having 1 week for each module, we will have 2 weeks for each module. And you can see, open for, one of the sessions going to be November 12, and the other one going to be November 19th, and it's due on the 22nd. Module 11, the same, 2 weeks. Module 12, again, Module 12 is an examination module. You will have skill test 2 part 1, skill test 2 part 2, skill test 2 part 3. You will have skill test 3 and written exam 2. If you look on the points, it's 350 points. It's a lot. Do you see this in red? It's October 8th and October 15th. No virtual meeting. Student must complete the exam in a proctored setting. This, 2 exams only, skill test 1 and exam 1, should be proctored. And I will assign it online to have it to be detected and monitored by someone. So you will prove that this is you are doing it, and you are not cheating in it. That's the meaning of proctored. In Module 12, there's no requirement to have proctored. However, there's no virtual meeting for December the 10th. You get it for yourself, and you just complete your exam. If you need help, just send it to me, and send me an email, and I will set up a timing for us to meet. Questions? Now, this is the syllabus. Let's drop it down, and let's go to talk about a number of things. Faster, 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 faster. Until this thing open, I don't know why it's not responding. Until this thing open, oh yeah, it's open. So, yeah, why I don't know why it's slow. You always want to start from here, where it say course orientation, student resources, proctored exam, what's the meaning of NetLab, and what's the login and scheduling. And I already put over here 2 pages. One is for the WebEx virtual meeting information, and guess what? You're here, which is good. And over here is the information to log in. You will find a section key, not an access code, a section key for you certify, and we are using, let me pull out, we are using our NetLab NetLab 03. This is our NetLab. NetLab 03 is our NetLab. These are the list of your name showing over here. If your name is not showing, let me know. That means they add you later on, and I need to give you a username and password. So you need to let me know that your name is not listed, and I will tell you which one to take, because I need to put your information over here. Let me go back. The WebEx is for our meetings over here. These are the modules. Each one is divided. You have a number of things. You can go through it, and everything is assigned. Everything has a due date and the points. You can see it in front of you. Okay? Announcement. Announcement is the most important key of contact for us, or for me, because this is a broad way to give you an information. So if something happened, I need to tell everyone, and by I need to tell everyone, I need to put an announcement, and that's why I utilize announcement a lot, and you will find me putting a lot of announcement when something happens. Syllabus, over here you find information about the syllabus. You will find information about myself, and I will tell you about it. Then you will find the link to download the syllabus that I just used in a few minutes. So again, my contact information, My email address is over here, and this is my small portion of my biography. So quick to it. My name is Ahmed Al-Zaidi. I teach computer science, information systems, and cybersecurity. I have a master's degree in information system computer security. I'm pursuing my PhD in business administration, information security as well. I'm almost done with my PhD. That means I'm at really the end of this, like really the end of it. I just need to do two things now: submit my manuscript and defend it. That's it. Then I will have either the DR or so on, or not. And over here you can see when is our due date for each and every item, and you can see it over here listed, and each and every item over here, and when is due by. So the listed information over here. Discussion where to go. Smartboard prompting is the one that we are going to use. Great, I cannot click over here because other information, but if you click over there, it will pull your grade. Think that they put it for you, and over here is your attendance. So technically, let's go ahead, and because I already clicked on it, let me take attendance. And good, that's really slow internet. What's going on? Can you hear me? Hello? I was talking for almost half an hour. No one heard me. Oh, that's all I know. Can you hear me? Knock knock.
Yes, we can hear you, Professor.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Someone on live. Thank you, Nathan.
Yeah, we can hear you, Professor.
Thank you. Kevin's here?
This is Mario. We can hear you.
Okay, great. Troy, Steven. Okay. So let me go back. Good. Let's talk about NetLab. After you put your username and password that I provided to you, and by the way, it has a mistypo when I created the list, but I just corrected it, so just to let you know. But it should work. The moment that you will log in to netlab03.fscj.edu and you put your username and password, it will ask you to change the password immediately. So you are going to choose any password you like. In order for you to log in and do your first lab, you are going to click over here and schedule a lab for yourself. Reserve a lab. We will have 30 spots, 30 pods to choose from. Now you will see only two. I see a bunch of them. So you will see this. You will see CTS1133, 1631, software assessment and software configuration. The assessment is already expired for a reason. This is your midterm. This is your finals. Or most likely it's the midterm, not even the final. So this is your assessment. I'm going to enable it for you when we have the tests. And I will tell you exactly how to do it. I will record it. I will do it multiple times so you can see how you can do it. Software configuration is the labs that you are going to use. So click on there, click over here, and now you are going to go into the schedule. It's taking time, but it's okay. I have already everything open over here, but I'm just like waiting time. Okay. Do you see this red line over here? The red line is your current time. You cannot schedule anything in the past, but you can schedule something from now to the future. So if you click just underneath the red line, it will tell you what the time that you're going to schedule. So technically, the lab will start at 6:05, which is just now. Now, if you put it 7 o'clock, it's going to start 7 o'clock, even if you reserve it, they will not let you. If you click over here, you can choose what time it ends. Let me say at 8:30, and I say, yeah, 2 hours and 40 minutes, and I say, okay, and I have a reservation. I think you have a maximum time of 4 hours. Now, let me say, oh, there's someone doing it. Good. Let me say I want to reserve a spot. I want to reserve a spot, and there's like someone took my reservation, my time. Where's that? Something wrong. Wow, no bumper. Okay, so this reservation is being used. I cannot schedule anything on that time. However, I need to schedule after that on this specific pod. But if I want to click another pod, I can choose. And we have 30 pods available for you. So you can schedule another one. So just click over here, choose one of the pods available, and you can schedule the time. If you're running out of time, you just extend it, just hit extend, and you will extend it. Now, this is from the other class. So you click over here, and you will log in to your lab. It say that it's initializing, so just give it time to initialize, and then you will see the labs front of you. This is lab 1, by the way. This is what you're going to do for lab 1. Front of you, we have 1 Linux, 2 Windows 7, 1 Windows 8, and Windows 10. Just to throw a name for you, or like a terminology, this network topology known as buzz topology. Okay, and they did it for a reason. And you can jump from one machine to another. Now, if your machine do freeze out on you and not responding, what you can do is just turn it off and turn it back on, restart it, and you can do so. Okay, so you have Ubuntu, Windows 7, Windows 8, 10, and 7 again. Good. When you're done, if you complete the work, please go ahead and end your reservation. Request time. End your reservation now, because you need to give place for other people to work. Good. Remember, netlab03.fscj.edu, and your name is listed in the list, so you find your own username and password. If for any reason your password needs to be restarted, you cannot remember which one you choose, please send me an email. Now we'll change it back to the default. So if I said, hey, it's back to the default, guess what? It's back to password 1. Questions so far? Okay. Let me put this back here. Now, when you are going to sign up for U-Certify, they will ask you the access code and the section key. The access code, the one that you are going to pay for it. The section key is the one that I provided to you, which is located in the login information and key section page that I published. Now, they will ask you, when you put the information, they have a question. Is this self-learning? And you are going to choose it's an instructor-led course, because it's led by an instructor. And the moment that you put the instructor, immediately they will ask you for a section key. But let me log in over here, my library. Now, if you are doing hardware and software at the same exact time, okay, let me stop over here. If you are doing hardware configuration, you will have to have this number one. Number one is for hardware, number two is for software. Do you see this number one? This is hardware configuration. If you put the instructor section key for hardware configuration, it will show up this. If you put the section key for software configuration, it will show up this. If you are doing the same exact course at the same exact given time, you should send an email to support@ucertify.com, provide them with your access code, provide them with the both section key, and request to have both section key linked to your account. Good? Good. So let's go ahead and log into your uCertify. When you log in to uCertify, you will see this, and this is the most important, where it says assessment. Look over here. You will see an assessment and which module it's located to and what's lab, and you just do this assessment. You have 4 attempts for it. I have an F because I explained a lot. So you have 4 attempts for each of the labs. Give me one. So we have 4 attempts for each lab, and when you complete, when we have the grading period, what I'm going to do is pull out the grades from the list and put it into your gradebook. Okay? Now let's go back. One of the reasons why I like... Okay, let me read what you just sent me. When you type chat, I cannot read it. Okay, you don't need to talk with other people. I don't know who's your other hardware instructor. I've already told you what to do. Click here, support, your information, the problem that you want to describe it. Can I have access to both copies 1 and 2, hardware and software? The section key below, or keys, by the way. That's it. That's what you just need to do. Send them an email. Tell them that you need to have access to the both copies. I've done this multiple times, and always it will work. Most of the instructors, they say, no. Do not kick me out and put me on the other one, or take out, because you can actually not connect with. When you click over here, when you click over here, it's a link within an instructor. You can click here and put the new section key, and you will get access. Now, if you have copy number 1, you put software, it will not work. Only software to software. Okay? So again, send an email to uCertify. Tell them you need to have access to the both section keys that listed below, and your access code is so and so on, and your active email is so and so. uCertify, based on last year test with them, last spring, The response time was 5 minutes if they understand what you're asking them to do. So explain, because I had students where section key 1 and section key 2, and they send it to U-Certify. U-Certify send me an email saying what's going on. Okay, and the student was so lazy to type, can I have both access to both session key because I'm taking hardware and software at the same exact time. So lazy to type this and just put the access code, copy from here, paste, copy here from here and paste, and that's it. They did not understand what he was even asking them to do. But if you tell them, hey, I'm taking hardware configuration and software configuration at FSCJ at the same exact time. I have, this is my section key. This is my the other section key. This is my access code. I want to have them both copies for that specific book. Guess what? They will provide it to you. I've tested them 5 minutes. If they understand what you're asking them. Otherwise, enjoy 24 hours. Good? Okay, let me go more. What do we have more? Yeah, I'm looking on my third one. As I mentioned, I like it because it has a lot of information. And technically we are reaching where we are going to start talking about chapters. Now this is the chapters that I'm going to use. I don't use the PowerPoint presentation because it's really short, don't have enough information for me to go through. And that's why I use the chapters to go through the chapters and apply what I'm learning. However, we will do it just now in front of you. These are the cards and the labs I told you about. Also, if you go here, performance lab, this is hands-on activity. You can do it. Again, the only thing that's graded is the assessment underneath. That's it. That's what you need to do to pass the course for the lab section of U-Certify. That's it. All other things if you want to learn more. So, do you have any question before going through the lecture for chapter 14? No questions? Okay. Are you sure? No? Not sure? No. Positive? Okay. For now, I'm not going to open NetLab and work on it, but I'm going to work on my machine to let you see a number of activities that we are going to do, just to get used to it. Now, this course is about operating system, and we are getting to know operating system. I like this course because it has wonderful information. Now, when you took the hardware configuration course, they already explained each piece of the computer and how it's connected to the other one, and they reached and talked about this in conjunction type of lecture. And technically, the moment that you press on the power button, a signal will be sent to the CPU and to the boot to initial the boot process, and the CPU starts sending initial itself, then sends signals to other pieces of the hardware, and all of this process through the boot, we know it as, because we are, it's connecting to the BIOS, the basic input and output system, and check it, and the check going to know as power on self test, or POST. POST, which is the power on self test. All machine, whenever you power them, you hear toot, right? So technically, it's indication that everything is working fine. Then you see the logo of the operating system to be pulled out. If you have a dead CPU, you have toot. If you have a dead RAM, toot, toot, toot. Okay, so indication that something wrong. But if everything good, the operating system will be pulled out. The hardware part of the machine understand one thing. It has an electricity or do not has any electricity. It's a magnet or not magnet. It's a light or no light. It's switch on and off. That's what it knows. That's everything that the hardware knows. Okay? And that's why we have a language, a low-level language that we'll come talking about it, called the binary language, which has two values. Okay? So the operating system is the second part, because if you want to define a computer, if you want to define a computer, the computer is going to be an electronic device that's going to be divided into two parts: hardware, software. You're already taking a course for hardware. Let's talk about software. Software will also be divided into two parts: applications and operating system. Operating system is the one that's going to be in between the application, word processing, web browser, and the hardware. And in fact, there's a small piece of the operating system known as the kernel, which is responsible to take the 0 and 1 and implement it inside the hardware. Okay? So the operating system will control the machine. Now, we have two complete operating system that come with all the needed application and utilities that's required to run this operating system, which is Windows and Macintosh. And main thing we are going to cover Windows in this course. We have chapters for Macintosh and Linux, but main thing we are talking about Windows. And we have Linux operating system, and we'll talk about them and how it was started. So, if I'm not mistaken, in the 1980s, we had the opportunity to have the first graphical user interface with Windows. And since that day, the use of the internet, of the computer has changed. Because before we were dealing with computer by typing a command in a command prompt, and we wait until it gets respond. But the normal user, it was so hard on them because they want to learn the language, and that's hard. But when they start having graphical interface or graphical user interface called GUI, graphical user interface, everything now has become much easier. So rather than putting a code, you are going to use the mouse and pointer to graphically manage your operating system. Now you as potential technical support, you should know how to use the command prompt. Okay? We know how to use the GUI. Most of the users, we call them users, know how to use computers. But a user using computer different from another user, right? You should know how to use command prompt. You know how to exactly manage and control the entire PC. So in this course, we will learn how to add to our knowledge, not only using and installing and removing applications, but we are going to do more. So over here is explaining what the meaning of a file explorer. This is called a file explorer. This is search box. This is the logical path. This is the navigation path. This is the folder area. This is how you can rename. Easy stuff, even don't worth to mention. We have something known as file and something else known as folder. File and folder. Let me pull something. Because I want to see it. Let you see it. I don't know why, but I have a really bad. Come on, faster. Yeah, it's taking time. I hate it. It's too slow. Come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on. It's not here. It's too slow. The other side. I cannot see anything. Too slow internet connection. That's not nice. Okay, let me see.
Whatever.
Raphael, your mic's on. The image that I'm looking for is not showing. Let me choose this. Okay, let me explain this until this show up. We have something known as a folder or directory, and we have something called file. Now, a file may be going to be an image, maybe going to be a Word document, maybe going to be an executable file. This is the file. The file should have an extension to be recognized by the computer. A folder can hold other folders and can hold files. Okay? Can hold other files. Therefore, as I mentioned, we have a folder that holds files and folders. Therefore, the folder at the beginning will be called a parent folder, and the folder underneath will be called a child folder. Okay? A folder in Windows, a directory in Mac and Linux. Okay, I want you to start playing with command prompt. Have you ever worked with command prompt before? Yeah, I know. Okay, everyone go to your search box and type cmd, which is going to open for you command prompt. I'm skipping the file manager. So the moment that you are going to open the command prompt, what I want you to do is just to type dir. It lists your directories under your current folder. Okay? It's listed your directories in the current folder. And now you are dealing with your directory. To see the directory, I want you to type right this moment. I want you to type tree, just like tree. If you have a bad computer, your computer if you have a lot of files, going to slow down. I have a really good computer, that's why, so fast. Now it listed all files and folders in a tree view for my Windows. Good. And technically, this is how we can deal with file and or command prompt. This is the kernel. This is the operating system. How managing the entire thing. Nice. Do you like? I'm going to let you write the first ever virus in your life. Okay. Yeah, we will do a small virus. Small portion of virus. Okay. Let's get to know more about the operating system. They say in 2018, it is estimated that 90% of the personal computer use was some version of Windows. They already tested people. So 90% was from the Windows portion. All other 10 equally shared the 10%, which is the Mac operating system as well as Linux versions. In November 1983, Bill Gates announced Windows, Microsoft Windows. DOS 3.1 was used as the first operating system for Apple computers in 1978. The Apple Macintosh operating system that a lot of people may know right this moment was not introduced until 1997. Mac operating 8 and 9 was introduced in 99, and now we are using 10. I think 10 or more. They start naming them different. In 1991, a Finnish student from Finland, which called, his name is Luis Trovols, Luis, just remember the name, began working on a personal project to build a new free operating system. Kernel, we know it today as Linux. The first 3 letter, then Unix. The first 3 letter of his name, then, because he used most of the code from Unix, so he called his operating system Linux. The kernel is the core of the computer operating system. People from all over the world start to calibrate on Linux open source code to submit tweaks to the central kernel. Good? Now, what is the difference between 32-bit architecture and 64 architecture? Now, if you didn't have hardware configuration before, let me explain. Give me 1 minute. Let me find it. My small lab. Okay. Do you see this? This is a CPU. Now, this CPU has 3 parts inside it. One of the parts is responsible to take in the instruction and be processed and take it out, called buses. In a 32-bit, it will take 32-bit, okay? Then it will take out the 32-bit, and this is called clock, CPU clock. 1 time, in and out. This is a second. Now, how many times? This is the speed of the computer, so it's 3,000, whatever thousand. And this is the 32-bit. Now, a couple of years ago, we needed to throw out a number of computers because their operating system, or their cannot handle the operating system anymore. The reason why, it has only 4 gigabytes. But why 4 gigabytes? Why this number? Who checked? Who knows? Who can give me an answer? Until I pull my calendar calculator. No one give me an answer? Wow. You're not cooperating. Okay. Now this is the scientific calculator. Now we have 2 values, right? A 0 and 1. This is a binary. This is 2 values. If we took the 2 values and we put it to the power of 32 lines, we will have a number. This number is 4,994,967,296. If we take this number and we will divide it by 1024, another dividing by 1024, and another one by 1024, it's going to equal 4 gigabytes. Do you want me to explain it more? I'm good. Guys, go ahead. Let me bring Excel so it helps us with calculation. Where's Excel? Come on, Excel. Knock. It's over here on this side. So, we have a 0 and we have 1s, right? A 0 and 1. 0, each one of them will be known as bits. Okay, let me explain that. You see this now? So we have 0 and we have 1. Each one will be called a bit. When we have 8 bits, it's going to equal for us a byte. So why 0? Why 8? Why not 9? Come on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, 8 because each letter of us or each letter will be 8 equal to x. So technically, if I have 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, this will equal 0 in English. Okay, so that's why 8. Now, why? Okay, 1024 bytes, we are going to have kilobytes. But my question for you, why 1024? You're good at math. You're in college. They already test your math. So why 1024? Why not 1000? Why in the CPU we have a straight number? Why over here we don't have a straight number? I'm going to start playing with you the deduction point and the extra credit point. If you answer, I will give you extra credit. And I will take a credit from each one of the students. Choose either answering or losing points. Divisible by 8, yes. 8, 16, 32, 64. Do you recognize these numbers? 128, 256, 512, 1024. Front of you. Multiplication of an 8. It can be divided by an 8. So we have kilobyte, then we have megabyte, gigabyte, terabyte, petabyte. Who can give me the other 3? 3. Going once. Going twice. Going 3 times. Next class I will start deducting points. Terabyte, extra byte. I've already put extra byte, zeta byte, and yuta byte. Yuta. Okay. This is our calculation. So I needed to actually jump from a number in here all the way to gigabytes. So I start dividing. So whenever I want to jump from bytes or numbers like small numbers and go gigabyte and so on, I need to divide. And I go backwards, I need to multiply. That's why I was like divide. Good? That's complete. So your operating system was not able to handle the hard drive, because if we say that only Windows 10 will require 2 gigabytes, and having an anti-malware, let me say, will have half gigabyte. You're running Firefox will have another half gigabyte. We're almost run out. What we have more? Let me say any other application you are doing word processing. This is another half. So technically you don't have enough RAM to manage your operating system. you see my memory? It's 24 gigabytes. Do you see how much I'm using of it? I'm using 9 gigabytes. Just my usage. I'm just talking. I want you to see over here. Do you see Firefox? Do you see how much taking? Just Firefox, a giga.75. Just Firefox. Do you think a 4 gigabyte can handle this? The answer is no. Plus, the amount of, and in order for us to increase this number, we needed to increase the number of buzzes entering the CPU. And that's why we had it a 64-bit. And you take 2 to the power of 62-bit, it will give you a number. And you divide, then we will have almost 2,048 gigabytes. In theory, supported. Maximum Windows can see 512. So this is, you have 32-bit bits to be processed at a time. Over here, 64 bits to be processed at a time. Over here, require you to have a 32-bit drivers. Over here is 64-bit driver. A different way to deal with it, and we have other things as we go through. We are going to learn how on Windows 7, 8, and 10. Yes, 7 and 10, and 8 and 10. I don't know why they kept 7 until now, but there's a lot of versions of each operating system. Like, for example, we have Home for Windows 10, we have Starter for Windows 7, we have Home Basic 7, Home Premium Windows 7, Windows 8, Basic Edition, which is 8.1, Professional 7, 8, and 8.1, Pro for 10, and so on. We have different in education, by the way. How you can know what type of Windows you're working with, and technically just go to this PC properties. You don't see it because it's on my other screen. This PC properties, then you are going to pull it out. So this PC properties, or you go to the control panel, you go to the system, you'll see the Windows, and you can see over here Windows 10 Education, and you can see my CPU, my RAM, my operating system, and my processor. So, what's a workstation? A workstation will have the opportunity to be not all a normal Windows. It's much more. A workstation can have ability to run a database management system. It can run complicated operations and so on. And that's why they call it a workstation. You have more than one computer, or one screen. It has a lot of RAM, it can run a lot of applications, and so on. And that's a workstation. Now, operating systems on mobile devices. Are you tired? Now? Yeah, I'm talking for the past almost an hour or something. Okay. A mobile operating system is an operating system for phones, and there's a number of operating systems for phones. Starting with, and number one, and this is number one, going to be Android operating system. And you will ask, why? I will tell you why. iPhone control or have the majority of the US market, but outside of the United States, they have different markets, and that's why Android controls that number. And I don't want to go in politics, but if you read through a lot of news and so on, recently I was reading about India, where India decided to let go of the Chinese market and switch to the US market for the phones. Because Indians is like a poor country, cannot afford the phone from the United States because it's just charge a lot of money, and then that's why they are taking using phones from China, and they are using their operating system and so on. And when they decided to take the US market, now is a different operating system they will use, and they will have different things. So that's if we talk about politics. because I don't want to get into it. So, Android, by whom? Android operating system was developed by Google Inc. It is based on a Linux kernel. It's a worldwide operating system for phones. Android dominated the field in the first quarter of 2018, and nearly 86% of the 383 million smartphones sold use the Android operating system. Right? It's crazy. Chrome operating system and operating system design and by Google that's also based on the Linux kernel. It was conceived in an operating system with a design goal that allowed both application and user data to reside on the cloud. And we have the iOS mobile operating system and was created and developed by Apple to run on Apple devices such as iPhone, iPad, and iPod. It is the second most popular operating system worldwide, but still in distant second after Android, with only 14% of the market. 68, 14. And then the other is going to be fraction. Windows tried to get into Windows mobile devices. That's why they created Windows Mobile operating system developed by Microsoft and is still found on devices, but has been discontinued. Next, end of life concerns. Now let's talk about a lot of concerns. A couple of months ago, Windows decided to stop security patching for Windows 7. Do you know what the meaning of that? There's no more patches. There's no more updates for Windows 7. That's mean if a company right this moment uses Windows 7 and they had an issue and they want to figure out or take a security patch for it, they need to hire a programmer that he knows exactly how Windows is designed and written to secure that issue or to patch this issue and secure the system. It's a lot of money, and that's why if you read the third one or the fourth one, it's a operation cost. Security threat. When we don't have a security patching, you have a security threat if you are using an old copies or old systems. Software incompatibility. If you have an old operating system, you cannot use software, the new ones, because the architecture, how they talk with the operating system is different. You can force the operating system to talk with older application, but the newer application cannot talk with an old operating system. So we have a software incompatibility. Compliance issue. You may be having issues with licenses. You may have an issue with complying with laws and regulations because you are using an old version that is subject to risks and so on. And performance and reliability. It's not going to be reliable as before. Now, most of us, when they get an update, we have a concern of an update. Now, if you look back a little bit, do you remember when this virus hit the ransomware that hit a lot of computers around the world that they needed to pay 300 Bitcoin to release out the data because it was encrypted, blah, 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 blah. The reason why, because Microsoft requested everyone to update for the security patch that was released at then because they found a backdoor and they wanted it to be protect from. People who did not protect from get hit. Okay? Now ransomware, whenever you click on it, it's going to lock you. But the getting into through the holes not anymore. So when you update, you will run into a number of issues, like insufficient hardware, just like how happened when we needed to throw out computers because they are 32-bit and not anymore can run Windows 10. Now, if you're in my place and say, hey, do you have an old computer that it was a 32-bit and you needed to throw it out? I'll say, no, I will not throw it out. I will put on it Linux. Linux still use 32-bit, and Linux don't have like this a lot of data and a lot of issues going to show up with. So I use Linux with one of yes, it has 8 gigabytes, so it's 64-bit, but it has a limitation. So I use Linux with it. Setup errors and freezes. Yes, while you update, you may get a freeze because there's no enough space, or there's no RAM enough, or there's an issue with the drivers, and the update will stop. One of the biggest issues that happen is the update, and that's why whenever you want to update a device, they say take a copy, because if you don't take a copy and something happened during updates, you need to restart to a copy or you will lose it. Driver, one of the biggest issue when you switch from, you update your operating system. Not all manufacturers and vendors of hardware and other components like printers and so on will have the driver for that Windows or that operating system. And that's why you needed to wait a little bit to get the driver. Now, if you ask me, do you update? I update it immediately. You know why? The moment that they updated, that means they really fix it. Let me secure myself rather than having something that I can wait. Application compatibility. When you update to a newer version, if you have an older version of a software that may not work. Now, you can right-click on the icon of it and say run as, and you put it as an older, but you always run into a problem. So you can say run as Windows 10, not Windows 10. Data loss. Data loss can be a project, as I mentioned, if you have a problem during that update and you lose your data if you don't have a backup. Compatibility concerns. When you have a software compatibility, can be referred to a practical application or must be used a specific CPU architecture, because how the data will be transferred. Now, why are we installing drivers? Because you want to tell the operating system, tell the computer how this device is architecture, how to transfer the bits and bytes from this place to that place. Okay, that's why you update. You use drivers. So, software compatibility can refer to whether a practical application must run on a specific CPU architecture, one of the compatibility issues. Forward compatibility also has upward compatibility is designed by the software manufacturer. It means that the system should be able to accept input intended for a later version, and it means to allow an older device to recognize when data is being generated for new devices. Extendable software, which is a software with both forward and backward compatibility, is not the same as software that is extendable for, and they are talking about compatibility with issues. Now, when you work, we have a corporate requirement. However, you had that. You wanted to apply for a job, and you read the description. They say an experience with OU and AD and so on. So, what's the meaning of this? AD. Now, you have computers at your home or small office. The network will be called home office, small office. Okay? This is the type of network because it's small. But when you go a little bit bigger, you should have a network that is secured, and the network called something known as a domain. For example, when you go to FSCJ and you wanted to log in, you logging in as a student, right? If I want to use your computer, I must switch the domain. You know why? Because I'm on a different organization unit. Organizational unit. So you work on a group called students. I work on a group called faculty. They don't match. So I need to switch in order for me to use your computers. And that's the Active Directory can do this. Work group. In Windows, normal Windows, whenever you set up, they ask you what's your work group. If the computer is working on a different work group, they cannot see the other computer, even if it's on the same exact network. They cannot see it. So it needs to be the same exact work group. And this is the corporate. They need to have a domain access, a BitLocker, which is the software that to encrypt the Windows data to protect it, drive encryption. And always they ask if you want to encrypt the entire drive, and those who work in IT, they say do not encrypt the entire drive, because there's no way, if you have a problem, there's no way that you can take out the data. Media center can be used to turn computer into a home entertainment hub. If you have a media center on your computer, you have a smart TV, you have a good network, you can create the media center where you can download videos on the media center that you create your computer, and you can access it on the TVs. We have branch check, which is wide area network. Links are slower than local area network connection. This is because wide area network connects building locations in a different cities or location in different countries. Microsoft has introduced a technology called branch cache that's helped users more quickly retrieve data from remote locations. Encrypting file system. Now the file system, whether it's an NTFS or FAT or FAT32 or the EXT for Linux 3 or EXT4 or the new one for Apple, they created their own. This is called file system, required to run the operating system. And some people encrypt them. So there's some corporation environment required that specific file and folders need to be encrypted, including the file system. And that's why they have something called encrypting file system. Now this is so easy. Basics usage of Windows overview. This is the desktop. This is for Windows 8. This is the desktop. This is the start bar. This is the 7. Desktop icon. Do you see the small arrow? This is the shortcut. This is the taskbar. This is the start menu. This is the notification area. Windows 8. This is the start. This is a big mistake. This is a mistake for Microsoft. When they created 8, they replaced the start button with the start screen. And the start screen was a disaster for a while. And that's why a lot of tickets was submitted to return the start button. However, the core of the operating system did not have the architecture for the button. But what they did, they just placed in 8.1, they placed the icon. When you click, you go to the start screen, which was a problem. This is known as the charm. If you have Windows 8 and you put your mouse to the right of the screen, to the top right of the screen, the charm will show up, give you the opportunity to search, share, start screen, devices, and settings. And guess what? This is one of the questions that you will be asked. How you can take out the charm in Windows 8? Just drive your pointer to the top right hand side. Windows 10, this is how Windows 10 look like. Do you see my Windows 10? It's kind of a bit weird because I don't have the search box and over here, but technically this located on my this screen right now. The screen. Windows 10, they introduced the bar that's go all the way to the all screens connected. In Windows 7, they don't have it, only on the first screen. The other screens that's connected going to be without a taskbar. Now they extend it all the way. And even the navigation center. This, I have only the clock over here. I don't have any of the thing in this area. Shortcut and tiles. Easy stuff. Shortcut is the one that takes you immediately to a path. Now, what's the path? If you click over here, this is the path. This is a logical path. This is the path. So right this moment, I'm at C drive. That's a path. Okay. Now there's logical path, full path, and physical path. Physical path is where it's located on the device, on the their hard drive or SSD or whatever. Where it's located. That's it. But this is the full path. This is the other one is logical. This one is the full path. So a shortcut is a way that you can pull out a folder or file or application by placing the location of the path and double click will pull that file. Recycle bin, where you can throw your trash over there and pull it out if you want. After 30 days, it will disappear. Icons for desktop, quick launch bar, and notification area. And this is to show desktop button. This is Windows 7. This is the start menu for Windows 7. This is Windows 7 as well. We have Windows 8 as well. This is the start screen. You will be asked about 8. That's why I need to cover it, but no one using it anymore. Windows 10 component icons, search box, task view, which is this one, open or pinned application over here, and you have the action center, which is not here on the other screen. Start menu. They introduce tiles to the start menus, and they add some kind of that. This is the task view where you can see the task, and you can add a new desktop. Guess what? Just like Macintosh. Now, this known as a dialog box. A dialog box is when Windows want to have more action, more questions for you. You print it and ask you which tray need to be used, or you want to save, and they say what name you want to save. That the thing that show up called a dialog box where it has more action to talk with. The right click known as the context menu. However, this is dialog box. We already went through this. This is the file explorer. We already mentioned it. File explorer. This known as ribbon over here. This is called ribbon. On the ribbon we have something called tabs. These are the tabs. This is the quick access toolbar. This is the search box. This is the path. This is navigation pan, and this is the folder area. This is the recent file because I'm the quick access. File name and extension. We already talked about this. File name, dot, and extension. So this is an extension. Now, by default, Windows hide extensions. Why? I'll tell you why. If you name or rename the file for any reason and you have this shown and you deleted the extension, the file will be an unknown file and need to have an extension in order for it to be recognized. So that's why they hide it by default. If you go to the folder option, which technically go to the file explorer, go to the file folder option, or you go to the view and click on option over here, is the same. Then you click on view. You can see where it say hide file extension, file type for no file type. You can uncheck it and say apply, and you can see that I have a file extension showing up over here, which is technically this session right this moment we are recording it. If I want to show it, hide it, I will go here file extension and I just say hide it. gone. Let me say there's one more thing I want to discuss, which is going to be the attribute. We can change the file attribute by making it hidden or read only. And when I make this file as hidden and I have my option to hide hidden files, I will not see it. Come on. My machine is being slow. Yeah. So I will not see it. But it's still there. I didn't delete it, I hide it. So if you have a teenager, show, apply, okay, and I will see. Come on. She started acting crazy. Apply. Okay. Right click. These. Check, change the attribute. This is called attributes. So this is the extension. This is how to show and hide extension. These are the extensions we work with. exe for executable file, PDF for portable document file, BMP which is bitmap file, and so on. DLL which is dynamic link library. We have a bunch of file extensions. That's the path. I already mentioned it, how you find it. This is the full path, and you can show the full path if you want, or display the full path in the title bar, or just logical. This is the file options as I explained it. Searching and indexing. Now when we switch to Windows 10, people start finding it so smart, so fast that in fact they have an indexing thing, which technically while you're working, Windows search for keywords and put it in a database called indexing database. And the moment that you put a word in the search box, what's happening actually immediately showing up. The reason why is what? It's already in the database. But if it's not in the database, it will take time to search the files for this keyword to find it. So that's a search and index. Simple as possible. Attributes, I just changed it. I can make it read only. I can make it hidden. I can manipulate the attribute. Now we have one thing that sometimes you can compress files to shrink it down and make it small, and you can create a zip file or .rar file that's compressed. This is compressing a file. Compressed file cannot save on it. You cannot change inside these files until you extract it. Then you can work on it. Otherwise, you just mute. Encryption. We have in encryption, we have two things. We have plain text and ciphertext, or plain file and cipher file. And that means this is readable, people can read it and understand. This is like the some algorithm written down and you don't understand what it is. This is a ciphertext or a cipher file. This is cipher. This is encryption. In encryption we have keys, and we'll come to it. Controlling the Windows control panel. In the control panel we have the ability to control the device. However, this is mostly not like advanced control, but this is the control panel, but there's other option where I can change more. And this is what you can do with the control panel. How you can determine the Windows version, you right click on this PC and go to properties, or from the control panel go to the system, and in the system it will show this where you can see what edition you are using. Windows registry. In Windows registry we have it's just like a database. It's just like a database. That's like everything about the local machine, the users, and the configuration of the current user, and the configuration of the machine, and everything that's related to the machine. You can actually manipulate the machine and damage the machine just from the registry. It's a huge thing. Most of the things in the registry is being written in hexadecimal codes. So if you go to the search box or run and just put bridge edit and this, where's that? I cannot see it. Okay, it's over here. This is the registry editor. You can see everything about it. Everything about it. When I say everything, that means everything. Local machine, current user, security, hardware. We will manipulate the hardware. Backing up data. Now, in backing up, whenever you want to secure your files, you need to back it up. We have internal backup and external backup. Internal backup, that means it was backup inside the device in a different hard drive or a different portion or partition. Now, if your drive is not divided into partitions, I don't suggest that you keep your copy inside the hard drive to take it out. And that's we have internal and external. And in backups, we have three types. We have incremental backups, full backup, and differential backup. Full backup will copy the entire thing, your operating system, your files, everything stored in one place. That's a full backup. It will have the most size of files. In incremental backup, how to do? Let me say we run full backup on Sunday. Monday we will run a percentage. Tuesday another percentage. Thursday another percentage, and so on. Until Monday comes and the 100% was again. And we start from beginning. And that's incremental backup. Differential backup, it will be backing up only what file changed from the previous full backup. So let's say 3-4 copies. Then we back up this file, and we go another day that has 3 files that was also, and we copy it. That's as you go through. There's application that can run backup for you, or you can run it from your Windows, and that's what we are going to do. We are going to learn how to do through Windows. Now, while you're working and then you want to create a copy or backup, one of the things that you can create is a system image. A system image take your operating system back to the same exact spot. The only thing that's going to be different is the date. Like when, the time, date, that's it. Otherwise, everything will be the same. And this is a system image. So you can create a recovery disk and say a system image, and you create a system image or you create a recovery disk, and that's what you're going to use. Because in Windows 10, for example, we have something called WinRE, which is Windows Recovery Environment. When you have an error, this will show up, and try to troubleshoot the error, try to fix it. If it was not able, it will ask you for a system image or a recovery disk. A recovery disk is not like open a system image, you will go back to it. But recovery disk will take this file that you see up here. At the end of each chapter, you will find soft skills and then lessons or summary lessons. Questions? Okay. This session was recorded, and I will pause it in a few minutes, maybe an hour or something. I will pause it for you if the recording was fine and so on. And we will go from there. Okay? If you have any other question, just email it to me and I will try to respond. You have one lab to do, which is lab 1. Lab 1, Windows Basic MATLAB. You should have the lab manual to be able to do it. Questions? Questions? Okay. See you then.